Hey everyone, Jim Phoenix here, and boy, do I have an exciting announcement. I have in the can an entire season of a brand new podcast series. Did you ever watch a TV show and you're like the biggest fan? You got the Dexter shirt and the Dexter lab coat. You thought I was going to go with the guy that kills people. No, I'm going for the cartoon version of Dexter. And you got the DD glasses and you get all these things, and people are like, what's this person about? Because you're that much of the fandom. You're the super fan. You're super fan of the world. And you want to spread your message. Well, I found two super fans for this little show called Buffet. Am I saying that right? Buffet the Vampires. Oh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's right. And I've got the super fan numero uno, Xander and Jess. You can follow him from Twitch. And we got super fano number 2, and Jess from What's Your Least Favorite Scary Movie Podcast. I love that podcast, by the way. And just for me, I've never seen Buffy in my life before, besides the movie. I don't think I ever will. And so these two super fans are in my ears just going at it. You gotta watch it. Oh my god. Spike. I don't know what a spike is. Oh, there's an angel. There's an angel where? On my shoulder? Is it a pin? I don't know. Oh, it's about like a guy who's like really old. It was a librarian. And they have what now? Oh gosh. And to bring the sanity back, we have none other than the other half of the dynamic duo from What's Your Least Favorite Scary Movie Podcast, Trav. He is bringing it in heavy. He is the judge. He is wise and sage-like. So when the super fans go cuckoo bananas, but super fans want to do, he kind of brings it down as someone who's only seen it for the very first time for this podcast. Now that's dedication. So we hope you enjoy our show. We have the entire season, so we really hope you enjoy the show. And if you love it, subscribe, throw us some love, tell us what you think. I would love to do this for other things, but first, let's rejoice in Buffy. Hit it. Hey everyone. Welcome to an exciting new podcast. Jim Phoenix here, of course. And this podcast is so new, we just renamed it. That's right. It's Invite Me In. Invite Me In. Once you hear the podcast, you're like, oh my God, this is a brilliant idea. In this brand new series, we have two super fans. Jess, say hello.
Hello.
And Xander, say hi.
Hello.
With one person who's just watched a series or an episode for the first time, with Travis, say hi.
Hey.
And of course, me, Jim Phoenix, who is just a blathering idiot, and I haven't seen crap, just asking my staff. So the concept is simple. Two super fans, one new person, and one dude from the outside. And today's series is, I guess it's a thing? Buffy the what now? The who? Was it the zombie killer, right?
Something
Buffy?
like that.
All
yeah,
right.
you're on the right track.
Buffy the zombie killer, cheerleader, twirler, baton person. All this and more on our very first episode. Yay! All right, guys. So I guess how many? Okay, I'm just ask questions straight out. How many seasons does this thing run? Like 2?
Officially.
Oh no, there's an official word.
Well, officially there's 7 TV series, or seasons rather. And then after that, Dark Horse released, as far as I know, their in-canon comic book series, I think, went up to season 9 or 10.
And we've got the spin-off series Angel, which ran for 5 seasons.
Oh, I love Bones.
Yes, Detective Bones.
That's awesome. I think there's a third spin-off right there was Bones. That's the only one that I'm actually watching Bones right now. That's the only reason I know this. Otherwise, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Okay, so a few episodes out there. I did watch the movie. Travis, did you watch the movie too?
I have not seen the movie.
Oh, we can reverse on this one. Go. So The movie, all I remember was Luke Perry floating, being kind of like a stoner, laid-back vampire and a cheerleader, and Pee Wee Herman.
What?
Both written by Joss Whedon, by the way.
Joshua, okay.
He wrote the movie and the TV show.
So I have a question. In this right here, is this the school that is referenced in the beginning of the first episode that she burns down the gym?
Yes.
Wait,
Okay.
Wait, she burns down the gym in the first episode?
No, the movie,
No.
dude. You said you watched it.
Oh! Yeah, I
No.
was just trying to do street cred. I don't really remember the movie that much. There was a
Okay.
gym?
I've not ever actually seen the movie, but I know enough about it's not required viewing for the show, but they make little references to it.
Okay, so it's not like Firefly and whatever the movie was. I can't
Serenity.
remember. Serenity, thank you. Which I actually like the movie better than the series. I couldn't get into the series. So, this is the series version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer starring Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right. Got that one
Sarah
right.
Michelle Gellar, Allison Hannigan, Nicholas Brendan, and Tony Head.
Look at you.
Nice.
They're the
Wow.
core.
So no Luke Perry.
No
I'm
Luke
kind
Perry.
of bummed about that, I guess. I don't know. I could see him fitting in this cast.
The
Maybe.
Scooby Gang.
See, and that would be amazing for me, which I think Riverdale's just like Buffy revamped.
I tried to watch that, and
Yeah.
it weirded me out because when I was in high school, I used to read a lot of Archie comics. So I'm like, oh, let me see what this is, and I'm like, to me, I watched like the first 4 or 5 episodes. To me, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad. I just didn't know how to approach Riverdale after growing up reading Archie comics.
Now, okay, same thing for me for Buffy because I grew up reading vampire comics. I have no idea where Buffy sits. So walk me through it. Walk me through the episode. What happens in episode 1?
Okay. Well, it starts off with 2 adults breaking into a gym for a date, as you do.
What, seriously?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, when you say adult, are you like older adults, or they just graduated last?
These guys are probably like they're breaching 30, I'd say.
Well, one
Oh.
of them is significantly older than the other.
Is it the guy?
No. Do you not remember?
No, I remember the guy because he's got like that whole bad boy thing where he's trying to be like mysterious and like, hey, let's
Yeah.
break into a fucking gym.
Yeah, it
Let's break into the
seems
gym.
it seems like you expect it to be that he's the bad guy, right? But
Yeah.
then she gets all vamp facey and attacks him.
Tells
Okay.
me.
By the way, the vampire, the Darla there at the beginning, you want to talk about your connections to other shows, is Julie Benz, who played Dexter's wife.
Oh, you know what? I just seen Julie Benz on not Survivor. God, Paranormal? No. What's the show with that car?
Knight Rider?
No, the other show with the car. Serenity? No, those 2 brothers that go out and do stuff.
Oh, Supernatural.
Supernatural, that one.
That's the takeaway. The show with the car.
The show
Not
with the
like,
car.
It's got a car in it. That's all. There's other stuff that happens too, I guess. But I already have I have a fan theory about Supernatural. I'm only into like the first 2 episodes, or 3 or 4, whatever it is. And I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character is that same character in Supernatural and Walking Dead. Boom. Season 1 has not proved me wrong so far. I'm guessing like season 2 might, but all right. So so Dexter's girlfriend, who's also a Supernatural, is in Buffy.
Yeah, she plays
she's a
Darla the
bad guy.
vampire.
Because she's
Yeah.
a bad guy in Buffy. Okay, she's Darla. Okay.
She's the vampire at the beginning of the episode.
Yep.
All right.
And that's what I
And,
meant when one of them is significantly older than the other.
Oh.
Ah.
Aha.
They
Yeah.
did look really old. Like, I mean, a lot of people in this show look really old for the characters they're playing, but
For
Oh, yeah.
teenagers.
I also
Yeah.
found out doing, research to writing the review for episode 2. As of the filming of that episode, I guess you would say the first 2 were practically one episode.
Basically.
Yes.
There was only 2 teenagers that were like legit teenagers in real life when they filmed that.
Who were they?
Sarah Michelle Gellar was 19.
Mhm.
And then her name was Mercedes McNabb. She was Cordelia.
Yes.
Her blonde
Harmony.
friend?
Harmony.
Yes. 16.
Oh, the one from Hatchet.
Yes.
The girl from Hatchet. Okay,
Yeah.
Yes.
cool.
She was 16 at the time of the filming of those episodes. Those were the only 2 teenagers on the entire cast.
Ah,
Yeah, Charisma Carpenter was almost 30 at the time of filming.
damn.
Yeah.
Still looks the same, by the way.
Yeah, she's 51 and she
Absolutely
she is
gorgeous.
banging.
Who's this?
The one that
Cordelia.
played Cordelia.
I don't know who Cordelia is.
She's the bitch.
She's
She's the bitch of the show?
Yeah.
yeah, but no, she looks like I think she's a vampire in real life.
She could be.
She's,
I looked at her Wikipedia just because I wanted to confirm something on episode 3, but she was shot when she was shot at when she was younger. Like she had a wild life.
Shot at and shooting.
Because I follow her on Twitter, and I'm just like, you don't I think you were bit during the filming of the show because she has not aged since 97. I think this started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's a beautiful woman.
Yes.
Okay, so we have Cordelia, we have Darla, and we got somebody's fresh meat. So they break into the gym to be eaten? It seems like a very bad planning on the guy's part.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to take advantage of her because she's this tiny little petite blonde lady, as Joss tends to like them. But, she turns the tables on him.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, is this based in reality? People do this? Or, I mean, obviously that might happen, but, why would you pick a school gym? Wouldn't that be just
you must not be from a small town.
a hat on a hat at this point? Or?
I was going to say, I'm from a small town, and we didn't break into the gym because none of us wanted to be at school to begin with.
There you go. Actually, I did break into a gym before. Once or a million times. But only to play basketball. Never to get my face written off by a vampire.
I don't think that was part of his plan.
Oh. Okay.
Well,
he was just going to be like, hey, it's cool to break into the gym and make out because that's what the cool kids do. And he even mentioned he had already graduated.
Yeah, he was definitely a peaked in high school kind of guy.
Yeah,
definitely.
So it's cool for you to graduate high school, pick up a girl, and then break into the gym of the high school you graduated into to hopefully have sex with this girl because cool?
So you kind of cheer when he gets his face bitten off.
Yeah, you're not heartbroken.
No. You're like, oh no.
And Buffy lets this happen.
She hasn't arrived at the school yet.
What kind of vampire slayer is this? Just letting people get their face bitten off in the first 5 minutes?
Dude, she's in her bedroom asleep right now. There's boxes all around. Her mom wakes her up and is like, Buffy, you're going to be late for your first day because we need to get that exposition out of the way. So she doesn't know yet about the vampire happenings.
Okay, but is she a vampire slayer on this first episode?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not the origin story. Okay, it's not like Spider-Man for the 15th time.
No, it's like the MCU Spider-Man. He's already established as Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to watch Uncle Ben die.
Actually, in the beginning of the episode, they kind of give a very brief 5-second intro. There's a vampire slayer and they have to do this shit, and then it cuts to the opening credits.
I wish that is how Joss recorded the intro.
Yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, I mean, that was my takeaway.
I was like, also, before we get any farther, can we talk about how awesome the Buffy theme song is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nerf Herder. Oh my God.
It's one of my all-time favorite TV theme songs ever.
Travis skipped it when we watched the 3rd episode, and I yelled at him, and I said, you are not allowed to do that for this show.
Okay, so Jesse has been watching this show pretty much every morning for the past year or so, and whenever we're getting ready for work in the morning, I'm in the bathroom, I'm getting out of the shower, and all I can hear is that theme song playing. So I've heard it every morning,
but you gotta watch all of the fun things going on the screen.
I saw
them in the episodes, and then it changes from season to season. And Joss likes to fuck with people's heads with who gets credited in the opening. So you got to look out for those little things.
Okay, whatever.
People get credited in the opening? Wait,
yeah,
what?
when they're starring, Sarah Michelle Gellar, blah blah blah. We'll get to it in later seasons.
Okay.
And because we're not spoiling anything future.
Right. No.
So, but he has a lot of fun with opening credits. So.
Oh, okay. So there's a song by someone we can't miss. It's not the MASH theme song, which is the best theme song in the whole wide world.
It is pretty
yes.
solid.
Until you
Wait,
listen
This
to the
might
lyrics.
be top 10, if not top 5, in my opinion, of all-time theme songs.
Yeah, it's one I literally never get sick of hearing.
It used to be my ringtone no more than about a couple years ago.
I'm feeling out of place, guys. Travis, do you? Okay, Travis is with me, right? The theme song is okay, but it's kind of like.
Maybe it'll grow on me a little bit more. I don't know. Have you ever heard it? You should maybe listen to it. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I mean, I don't think it's bad, but it definitely sounds
Travis
like rock and
is
roll.
just not a theme song guy.
That's not
unless
true.
it's Dragon Ball.
No, Dragon Ball's got that is classic.
Okay, now Dragon Ball. My very deep admission right here. I didn't know there's a difference between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, so I just thought wow, are they kids again? Like what the hell's going on here?
There is and there isn't, because in the comics it's all Dragon Ball. In the show they split it up, but that's a different show.
All right,
a different podcast, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball podcast.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we got to the scene where Buffy's waking up.
Yep, we are 5 minutes in.
All right.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
And then Buffy has a dog in this episode.
Apparently.
I love
Who
it.
has zero chill.
But can also kill vampires, which, in the 90s, all things had dogs. Like Turner and Hooch came out then, 89-ish, or 90s something. So,
Yeah. And we'll get the lore for how to kill vampires in this show, because I think everybody handles vampire lore differently between series and movies and stuff, and they have their own rules for this that we'll uncover as the series goes.
Shoot him in the face?
Well,
Nope.
It seems pretty standard so far. I haven't noticed anything different than any other vampire movie.
I'm just saying, they develop their lore.
Okay.
So.
For the most part, it's relatively the same, but everybody likes to put their own little wrinkle on stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that we'll find out as that goes. So, Travis, what were your first impressions when you see the high schoolers filled up with 35-year-olds?
I was definitely put off, especially whenever we see, I guess, Xander for the first time, because that guy's got a very well-defined shadow. And I mean, I went to school with a guy that had a full beard in middle school, so I know that it can happen, but it's never not going to be jarring for me. Everybody else, I think, looked pretty close to the age, but Xander's he's definitely well into his 20s.
Hi, I'm a new freshman.
We've seen that. And I had a friend like that could buy beer in grade school. Yeah, it's always man, you feel almost inadequate sometimes. I'm supposed to be more shaving than this. All right, so walk me through it. Let's go for it. What's the first? She gets to school.
She gets to school. We see Xander skateboarding, which is definitely a thing that we'll see throughout the whole series. Xander always skateboarding, true hobby of his.
Absolutely.
Is that the only time we see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Well, he doesn't really look like he knows what he's doing out there anyways. He's just kind of going in a straight line and making people dodge out of his way.
That is literally the description of Xander for the entire series. So good job.
Okay, cool. So maybe they were onto something there. They're like, okay,
hey guys, I picked up a new hobby next episode. No mention of it. It could be hey, I picked up falconry. This is going to be important for one episode, and then never do it again.
Speaking of important for only one episode, we also meet his friend Jesse.
Aww.
He's in 2 episodes.
He's in 2 episodes.
I mean, this guy's got not an important character written all over him. I don't know if it's the way that he talks or the way that he looks, but something about him is just this guy's not going to stick around.
Also, a very John Waters mustache too.
In high school?
No, Jesse.
He's a high school kid?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a high school kid, but he's rocking the John Waters mustache.
Huh. Where's this high school located? I should probably start.
California?
California.
Southern Cal or Northern Cal?
So it'd be Southern
SoCal.
California.
SoCal? Okay.
All right, I can almost not see this at all. Okay. So far, so good. I think we have Bart Simpson riding a skateboard, and then John Waters is there, and a cheerleader.
Wait, is she really a cheerleader in this too?
Not
No.
yet.
Oh,
I was like, did you just like make her a cheerleader first day? That would like be upsetting to the cheer
No.
squads.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That
Okay.
comes later.
Sorry, didn't want to spoil her. The Buffy the cheerleader vampire killer. It's not a cheerleader.
Yeah, no, but we see like Xander asks Willow for math, so that way we can get her exposition that she's a nerd because she's also wearing like a plaid overall dress and very thick tights.
They make a comment. So Cordelia, right? She's
Yeah.
the one that comments on her outfit being kind of lame, but I actually thought it was nice. I liked it.
The softer side of Sears.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I also noticed with the first episode that, like, to me, one of the biggest knocks of the first episode, and to me, as far, you know, it obviously improves as the show goes on, the characters are very one-dimensional.
Oh yeah.
It's
Exposition.
like Willow. Yeah, Willow. Oh, hi, I'm the quiet, nerdy girl. That's all I do. Cordelia's like, I'm a plastic. I'm Regina George. And then Jesse's the creepy guy. And then
Xander's a skateboarder.
Xander's also
Xander's
the
also
guy.
the creepy guy.
like, yeah, but like Jesse's the more like, oh, hey, how we doing? You want to go out again? Even though you told me no 15 times.
I think
Yeah.
I think that Jesse played it a little bit cooler than Xander because Xander's kind of acting a fool, trying to get
Yeah.
Buffy's attention, and then he's like actually calling him out, being like, "Bro, you need to chill right now."
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
they're very
Expositional.
yeah, they
It's-
have their, hi, I'm character trait, and I'll be playing.
Yeah.
I liked in the beginning, like whenever Buffy first shows up, and then whenever Xander walks into the school, he like sees Jesse. He's like, "Oh, dude, did you see the new girl?" And he's like, "Yeah, dude. What's her deal?" It's like, "She's the new girl." Like, dude, she just walked into the school for the first time 5 seconds ago. How the fuck are you gonna know exactly what her deal is?
She's the new girl. That's all we need.
That was it.
Fresh meat. Yeah.
But we learn
I mean, you weren't far off.
really?
we learn her deal pretty quickly though, because she goes into the principal's office and Flutie tells her that she gets a clean slate here, and he rips up her record, and then he reads something about Jim burned down and
Oh.
quietly tapes it back together.
So this is them pretty much like making references to the movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's not really giving her a clean slate because he's really holding this shit against her, like basically threatening her about like if she doesn't behave, she's going to be pretty much expelled immediately.
A principal being an a-hole? No.
No.
I know, right?
There's no stasis for this. Okay, so it is realistic and it is a continuation of the movie, sort of. Now,
Yeah.
all right. I
Oh,
will let this one unfold before I ask my question.
But yeah, so it basically, the good first third of the episode is just introducing basically the main characters for the majority of the series.
Yeah.
And then like beforehand, that they do introduce her mom, which Sarah Michelle Gellar, and then I forget her name, the actress that played her mom, had like,
Christine Sutherland.
thank you, amazing chemistry. Like, you honestly would think that they're actually mother and daughter.
Yeah, I know she's technically a guest star on basically every episode that she's present for, but I think she's wonderful as Buffy's mom.
Because they had to move to a different town, and she's like, look, I'm just trying to do this. I want you to be happy, but we can't keep doing this.
I kind of felt bad for her mom. Like,
Yeah.
she's having to uproot her whole life because, she doesn't really understand what's going on, and Buffy can't really realistically explain it. It sounds like she's tried to in the past because she's like, I don't know what you're talking about with this vampire stuff. I just don't get it. But, whatever. Yeah, I just kind of felt bad for her.
Now,
Yeah, well,
Go back.
I was gonna say she doesn't know anything about Buffy being a Slayer. She doesn't know anything about vampires.
Didn't she try and like tell her before?
No, she is just like, you don't understand. It wasn't that I fell in love with the wrong crowd. It was just something I had to do. She's supposed to be, and we'll see this in the episode, is after she leaves Flutie's office, later on when she goes to the library and Giles pops up, and she kind of alludes to the fact that she was lonely and can't tell anybody, and it's her sacred duty that she has to bear alone and all of this. And they're really setting it up that a Slayer is not meant to have a support system because of patriarchal reasons that we will talk about as we go through the series.
Because MacGuffin. That's why.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that happens that we can't say because
It's gonna spoil. Okay.
Yeah.
but this basically the first episode or two kind of sets up stuff that happens throughout the entire series.
Now,
Yeah.
you guys said the first episode, or the first 2 episodes, might really just been one episode cut in half.
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
I mean,
Or
the
at
first
least-
episode literally ends with a to be continued on screen.
Or at least
Okay.
one script. May not necessarily like filmed together, but at least one whole script for the 2 episodes.
It picks up immediately after the first episode, so
Yeah.
it's like,
Kind of like a pilot feel, or
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
thanks. But now she's taking her classes with people, and the mom thing's interesting because most kids have to move because of their parents.
yeah.
And this is like the flip on that. And then the kids don't understand, like, why do I have to keep moving? Well, daddy's a Marine. Like, he keeps getting stationed other places.
Yeah, and we don't know the full deal about her parents yet. We just know that her mom is a single mom at this
I
point.
made a note about that. I thought that was nice that they didn't give like clunky exposition, like, something about, oh, well, your father, since he left, like I'm kind of glad that they've left that kind of open. Does that, I mean, you don't have to spoil anything. Does that play like into any future episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
father
like
who was found dead
yeah,
with a
yes
stake
and
in his heart.
no. Like
Okay. So not like anything like huge plot wise. I didn't know if that was like them planting a seed, like that, maybe something further down the line.
The father thing will come up in significant and non-significant ways.
The
So
dad's
Okay.
Negan. You heard it here first. The dad is Negan. That's my new theory. Everyone's Negan now.
Boom.
I'm going to be 0 for 2 on this theory, aren't I? Okay.
But, and then they also, the big part is that, the vampire part of the show, they bring them in. And it's just because what they're trying to do, and even though I totally didn't call him the leader in the first article I wrote and I had to change it to the master because that's his real name, I totally didn't do that. So what they did is that this is all underground, and they're trying to bring him, because he can't leave the little underground temple.
It's like a collapsed church, I think.
Something like that, and he's been stuck there, I think they said, at least 300 years. And he has to feed before he can go. Basically, he needs to feed so he can come back and bring upon the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Okay, and so...
The one thing about
yeah.
this show is that vampires are obsessed with the apocalypse. They love it. They're fucking all about ending the world.
Is that because that's just biologically them, or is that more philosophy, or?
So, and this is covered in
For the
this
first episode,
episode, I think, is that vampires in this universe, so when a person is turned into a vampire, they are no longer the person they were. The trace of the human is completely gone, and they have a
Okay.
demon has taken over their body. So it's a
Oh.
demon in a human body.
It's possession.
Yeah.
Do they seem to have their memories though, right?
Yeah, they have their memories,
Okay.
but it's not them.
Okay.
Okay, so why can't you just shoot him in the face if it's possession? Because if you shoot Reagan in the head, not Ronald Reagan, but Reagan from The Exorcist in the head, I'm pretty sure Pazuzu's done.
Because they're demons, but they're also vampires. Every demon in this
What?
show
Demon and
has
vampire?
has its own way to be killed. So
Oh,
what will
oh.
kill one demon will not kill another
Good
necessarily.
Lord.
Yeah. So with
Wow.
vampires, you can decapitate them, you can stake them in the heart, or you can set them on fire.
Okay, but you can't
That's
do
it.
that with the demon who's inhabiting. Is this like Pokemon? Is this all about buying more stuff? Is this merchandise 101? You don't have to, if it doesn't explain it in the first episode, we don't have to.
Not really.
Just so I get this right. The vampire, you can stake, head cut off, and blender. Whatever.
Yeah.
That will kill the vampire. But is there a demon inside the vampire that
The
can't
demon inside the vampire is the vampire. It's
Oh,
all
the-
in one. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. It's
Oh, okay.
Based off of what I've seen in this and what I've seen so far, You'll know you got him when they turn to dust.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
just
Les
kinda
is the cocaine demon.
It's a
And
very
it's like,
horrible.
oh, damn. We don't know.
It's a very horrible CGI effect.
I think a lot of the effects in this show aren't exactly good. Like, I don't think the prosthetics of the vampires look very
They
flattering.
get better.
I do like the practical effects and the fact that they didn't, vampires are, for the most part, they're a very romanticized monster.
They just kind of look like things from The Hills Have Eyes to me.
Yeah, and it's just like, instead of doing like the Bela Lugosi vampire or the Sparkle vampires from Twilight, these are like, no, when you know we're a vampire, we ugly.
Yeah.
I guess I can appreciate that.
And then there was a scene in the first episode where the master comes up out of this, supposed to be like some kind of pool of blood.
Yeah.
And you can easily tell that they filmed the guy, the actor playing the master, like crouching and then kind of coming out of the pool, and then they just CGI'd a thing of blood around him. Like, you can see the obvious breaks where it's
Yeah.
very late
It's-
90s CGI.
Yeah.
Cheap too. I mean, cheap for the time, I'm sure. I don't imagine them being able to do much with like a pilot episode budget.
Yeah.
I mean, we could use food dye, but why not?
So
CGI.
there's one thing that I really want to get Jim's unbiased opinion on in
Okay.
this
Yep.
episode.
Yep.
Can we give him a rundown of Giles? Because I think that Giles comes across as a very creepy man in this first episode.
Okay, cool. Now, I'm glad you brought that up. That actually is going to be my question. So I think my major question is going to come up very, very shortly. So Giles, who is he? What is he? That's John Hurd, right? John Head. John.
Tony Head.
Tony Head. That too. Tony.
Giles, he apparently is a new librarian for the school who happened to also move here around the same time that Buffy did. So, yeah, there's definitely a connection. Turns out he's supposed to be the Watcher. So he, I don't know, he is supposed to like mentor her or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Buffy says, the Slayer slays, the Watcher watches.
So,
Like, if you guys seen the movie, that was Donald Sutherland's character filled the same role in the Buffy movie.
was it a different person playing him?
Yeah, like, it's a
Okay.
different character, but it's basically like, I'm supposed to train you and watch you. I'm basically supposed to be Uatu the Watcher. I can help you. I can't help you directly, but I can just kind of stand on the sidelines.
She's already trained though. So what is he kind of doing?
She's not trained. She's kind of like imbued with magic in a way, which gives her
cool.
like
That's-
super strength and reflexes
But she's had past experience and she's had a previous Watcher then, right?
Yeah. And but she's supposed to like train with him and really hone her senses. And they talk about that because, after we get all of the school daytime exposition, they go to this teen friendly club called the Bronze, which will come up time and time and time again. And Giles is there, which I think this is what really got Travis really upset, is that he's at this teen
It's
club.
not only that. Okay, so look, let me just give the rundown on this guy to Jim real quick. So it's this middle-aged man, and the first creepy instance with him is in the hallway whenever Buffy is trying to refuse the whole thing. He pins her down against the walker in the highway in a high school and is not letting her leave. That's one red flag right there. So that comes across as super creepy. Then later that night, he's seen at a club all full of high schoolers by himself. He's like the only adult in the club, and he's just kind of chilling with a bunch of high schoolers in a social setting at night. So I don't know. For me, it just kind of gives very creepy Predator vibes.
It's like that Steve Buscemi gif. How do you do, fellow children?
Kind of, except this guy gives me a little bit more sinister.
He gets
Now-
okay.
yeah.
I'm coming at this from the lens of having seen the series.
Exactly,
and
that's what I'm talking
I
about.
know, and I'm a huge Giles fan. And some of this behavior in the early season gets explained when you get more background on the whole Slayer Watcher thing.
I'm talking purely as like a spectator. Like if I'm
I
a
know.
kid walking down the hallway and I see the new librarian pin down the new kid, and and then I see him at the club that night, I'm like, oh, I know why this guy's wanting to work at schools.
Exactly. This might be a
Jesus.
stranger danger
Yes.
situation.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's the vibe that I get.
He's wearing tweed.
And he's
What?
British. Yeah, he's supposed to be an
Really?
intellectual. I get it. You know, they do their best to try and make him look like very sophisticated, but that
Yeah,
shit
He
don't fly.
falls under the same problem we were talking about earlier with like one-dimensional. Like gradually,
He's
he
Dimensions a
improves his.
pedophile or what?
Yeah, no, it's just he improves as a character as the series goes on. It's just character-wise, the characters aren't very good in this episode, honestly.
No.
They're
It's a pilot episode, basically.
All right, so I have a
Essentially.
question about the bronze. Before I can give my answer to Travis, I have a question about the bronze. So it's a 18 under club. So there's no alcohol. It's just like
No,
sodas
like-
and dance. And...
It's teen friendly. They just ID you when you go in, and they like denote who is 21 and over.
So like,
Oh,
where are they
they
drinking?
kind of-
Like Capri Sun?
Do it.
Where are they drinking it? They're like Capri Sun.
Actually, you
They're
don't
like
see him
Coke.
drinking
Courtney
anything,
High.
honestly.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a bar, but I don't think I ever see anybody actually walking around
Yeah.
with a cup in
Well,
hand.
it's
'Cause we see
smart
Will
because
at
there's
the
a
bar.
pedophile there with little kids.
He
Yeah,
is.
he shouldn't drink anything at all.
Good lord. You know what? I agree with Travis. Look, that's just creepy as fuck. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
That's creepy as
Like,
hell, man.
that's why like I know that, you know, have like them having seen the show, I'm sure that they have like, you know, oh no, Giles is a good guy. Like,
I
he's
have
cool. Like, he's not
very
gonna do
strong
anything.
feelings about
But
Giles.
as
He's a
like
good guy.
somebody
wink.
yeah, somebody like coming into the show for the first time, it just kind of gives you like, I'm just thinking of like as a third party, if I'm in that setting and I notice that, like I'm just not getting good vibes from that guy.
No, if it was the
I-
bartender there, I get it.
Yes.
I think it's also important to note when we talk about Giles as the Watcher, he's got all of this knowledge, kind of like where Buffy has like this sacred duty. He's got this sacred duty as well, and he's had to study up on demonology and all of this. And he talks about Sunnydale essentially being a Hellmouth. I don't think they say Hellmouth until the second episode.
They don't.
We hear Mouth of Hell, so yes, but no. But he talks about how this is where all manner of the supernatural converge. Which it's really just a way for them to be like, hey, it's called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but there's going to be other things.
Get ready for leprechauns.
Hey, I want to see that episode.
Oh, and it's also important that Xander was in the library and overheard this exchange
yes.
between Giles and Buffy.
That's another thing. That library seems like super empty at all times.
Oh yeah, that's a huge plot hole throughout the whole.
It is a library.
It's a
nice.
thing.
Or it's like, hi, I'd like to check him. No, not now.
Yeah, it literally
Right.
it's insane.
I need something from English class. Not now. We're talking vampires. Go away.
If you feel like you have the suspension of disbelief for all of the supernatural things, nah, I don't have a problem with that. What I can't wrap my head around is how nobody ever comes into the library.
Yeah.
It also looks
Vampires,
That's
weird
fine.
old guys at the club, fine, but nobody in the library. Something isn't right here.
the library
Also,
doesn't even
this
look like a
is-
school library.
Yeah, it is the most ornate fucking library.
Yeah.
How high are taxes in Sunnydale? Like,
Well,
how are they funding this public high school's like architecture?
Mine totally did not look like that.
No, mine
No.
had like the grossest, like grimiest carpet, secondhand shelves. Like you've
Oh,
got
yeah.
like the little rickety metal cart that they push all the return books
Yeah.
around. Like
a single
none
room.
of this.
I don't think
is-
mine had like books on vampires and witchcraft either.
Well, those
No, I
were
don't even think
Giles'
so.
personal collection.
Yeah.
His pr- So this old dude shows up first day and he tries to corner students alone in the library.
Just Buffy.
Just the
That makes
female
it better.
students.
Oh yeah,
Much
no,
better.
just Buffy. He ignores everybody else.
Well, okay, yeah, not creepy at all. So, and no one sees this? Like, no one else besides, okay, Xander kind of overhears it, but like the faculty just don't go, hey, dude. Even the faculty should probably step into this point, like, young man.
I would imagine that would have been something that would have been brought up, but no, you
Yeah,
don't see
but-
anything.
But also, you also notice like throughout this episode, throughout the show, like adults don't exist unless they're important part of the story.
Yeah,
Oh.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
You don't-
I've
you don't
noticed
see
that
gro-
much.
Yeah, you don't see grown-ups unless they're part of the actual direct.
Adults are a plot device.
Yeah, they're usually
Basically,
an obstacle or a villain from what I've seen so far.
Oh,
yeah, I think Buffy's mom is like one of the only parents you see throughout the show.
oh god. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few episodes that are parent centric, but again, it's because they're, acting as an obstacle or a villain.
Yeah.
So
Does anyone get killed in this episode?
Yes.
Yes.
Besides the kid early on with Julie.
Yeah, and he's been stuffed into a locker.
Oh,
And
good.
when some of the girls go to the locker room to get ready for gym class, he falls out.
Is
And
Giles there? I'm wondering.
Well,
Is Giles by the locker? Because he's the watcher.
Well,
No, he
Buffy
was in the
wasn't in the
library.
locker room. Yeah. So
It was actually Cordelia's locker that
No, it wasn't.
he was stuffed in.
It was.
She was there because I know she screamed her ass off.
it was one of the Cordette's lockers.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
like he was.
Cordelia, there's different people.
And Cordelia comes to tell Buffy that gym class is canceled, so she can't see the lady with the chest hair. Because there's a dead body in the locker room, and Buffy immediately gets weird and is like, "How'd he die?" And she was like, that's morbid and gross." And she was like, "Were there holes in his neck?" And she was like, "What the fuck?" So she goes to try.
Tell me everything.
She goes to check out the crime scene, and then that's when she tells Giles that she acknowledges there are vampires and that she didn't want this to happen, and she's pissed because she doesn't want to be the Slayer. And Giles is like, "It's your sacred birthright."
And that's when Xander overhears everything.
But they don't do anything. That's the to be continued, right?
No.
Lane, that doesn't happen yet.
Damn. Really?
Yeah.
How long is
yeah.
the episode?
All right, so let's move it on to the club, because basically,
Yeah,
that's
this is
what
about
happens.
Yeah.
It all kind of So they
No,
go to
no,
the,
they don't have club music.
No.
All of these teenagers are listening to grunge rock.
Yeah, is this like
On a
were these real
Tuesday, by the
bands?
way. This is
On a Tuesday night.
Yeah, I was like, I get you want to have teen clubs, you want to go out, we're going to get live music, but this is a school night, and they're like, yeah, we're going out till like 2 a.m.
Okay, in their defense, I did the same thing all week. Yeah, we never did the weekend parties. We just did like, it's Wednesday. Let's do it.
But the vampires decide, hey, we need to start feeding because we need to bring the master up to cause the end of the world. Blah, blah, blah. Bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
So the vampire, they also introduce Angel very shortly.
Oh, yeah.
Angel is introduced for about 2 minutes.
I did not expect that.
And I told Travis that this is the least dramatic he will see Angel throughout the rest of the series.
Oh, compared to the rest of the series, this man is a subtle, nuanced character.
Yeah, and that he was so over the top in this one too. Like he doesn't say anything. He's just like, "Oh, I'm a friend." You know.
I'm dark, brooding, and muscular. You will love me later.
I'm going to say this. So I'm rewatching Buffy again. I had never watched Angel the series before, and my good friend convinced me to start watching it. And I was like, I just don't care about Angel as a character.
I've never watched an episode of Angel.
I have such a different opinion on him now that I watched Angel. I still don't know how I'm going to feel about him starting Buffy over having seen Angel the series now, or some of it. I'm still working my way through it. I don't know how I'm going to feel about him in Buffy, but Angel the series is way better than I expected, because I care so little about Angel.
But yeah, so he's like, hey, shit's about to go down.
He's
bye.
A dick.
Yeah, he's like, hey, shit's about to go down, bye. And then, so she's like, hey, I want to go to the club to fit in, and then vampires start attacking. You know, like we need to feed.
Attack the club.
And they also do say specifically, it was either on this episode, but I know they do approach it on the second one. Hey, we need young blood. We need the virginal blood. We need as pure blood as possible to make sure.
So they go to a club. Yeah.
Well,
that's
no,
where the virgins hang out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but no, they go to the high school because they're like, we need as pure as blood as possible.
Again, they went to a high school club.
So these vampires, these vampires are trying to lure people away to bring the master food. And they're getting the pure people, which in Buffyverse means nerds. So basically Willow gets flirted with and Jesse gets flirted with, and they're both like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll follow you into a cemetery.
Strange person, follow you into the dark because it's very safe.
I like how they are able to tell the vampires. Giles is there, and then he's trying to get Buffy to like sniff out the vampires in the crowd, and she's pointing out that they have very dated outfits, like the guy dressed from the 70s. That's how you can tell, because they've been underground for like a decade. So,
and she was right. That's the thing. She was 100%. She's like, oh, that we don't wear that anymore. Totally a vampire, and you're like, Yeah, no, he just doesn't know. Oh, yeah, no, wait, look, he's a vampire.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually really liked that. I thought that was nice.
I
It was
love
kind of
how
funny.
yeah, Giles was so mad because he's like, you didn't sense it, and she was like, context clues, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Did you see that shirt? But
Yeah.
and then everything goes hinky, and
They all die?
no, actually, a couple of the vampires do. She does kill a couple of vampires.
Yeah, she kills I think they say his name is Thomas because so they're in this crypt and Jesse has been slightly eaten by Darla and Willow's freaking out, and then Buffy manages to get there and Xander has followed along behind her because he's like, I need to save Willow and Jesse. So she's like fighting them while Willow, Xander, and Jesse are trying to get away.
And then there was another named vampire named Luke, a big muscular guy.
The most dramatic of this episode. He monologues so much, and I'm like, can you please just dust him already? I'm so over him immediately.
You now know my pain when I watch some of a TV show when they do the voiceover monologues. I'm like, oh, please, this is the first person to die. Please.
Like they're all like vaguely religious sounding monologues, and he's just like, and his voice is so deep, and their mouth prosthetics are not as good in season 1, so they all have like a little bit of like a lisp going on.
Didn't you describe him as his monologues as like a video game character, like
Yes!
a boss?
Yeah, like he basically, it's like when you're playing a video game and you're sneaking up on the boss character and you just hear like all of their stock dialogue happening, so you know you're nearby and they're doing bad guy things. That's what all of his lines are.
That's exactly what he sounds like.
Press X to skip.
Yeah, basically.
And then I was doing the research for the second episode because they were talking about, because these prosthetics were bad because they had trouble pronouncing some of the syllables, and so they actually Whedon actually had to go get new prosthetics made for those that had like several lines, and then kept the crappy ones for the vampires that really didn't speak or really.
Couldn't they just like dub over that?
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, why would they just like do post?
Okay, but just think about how obvious the visual effects were. Think about how obvious the dubbing would have been. Back then, yeah. Okay. I don't think it would have been great. I don't think they would have done all of the sound mixing they needed to do to make it sound natural.
Bob. It'll be Bob from that one movie.
Does the choreography, like the fight choreography, get better throughout? Because I thought it was kind of lacking in this first episode.
They get some really elaborate fight scenes. Eventually they get, because sometimes the stunt double for Buffy is really fucking obvious.
Oh yeah.
And they switch. No, it's a female stunt double.
Oh, is that like Spaceballs? Where it's like that one dude smoking a cigar, like, oh yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, no, things get better throughout this series.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is a rough episode.
Just in general.
Yeah, it's a good episode, but it's also not one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's necessary so you have some background information.
I thought it was fine, like establishing the series. Like I enjoyed it. Like I wanted to see more. Basically, it ends at that fight. By the way, Jim. Okay. Like they dust the guy, and then the girl goes to run after like Willow and Xander. And Buffy's like pinned down by Luke, and then it's like to be continued.
Yeah, he got her pinned down in a coffin, so she's basically stuck. And then it's like, okay, bye, see you next week.
Yeah. But I thought it was fun.
Oh, he pins her down, but he also like has a monologue as he's pinning her down.
Oh yeah.
So.
Buffy's like, I just want to do cheerleading stuff. Come on.
It's more like a mono Luke.
Hey.
Now, okay, so Travis, this made you want to actually see the next episode, though.
It did. Maybe because of the to be continued, but I also thought it was nice. Like they say that the characters are kind of one dimensional here. I think that's kind of standard for pilot episodes, especially when you're just establishing everything.
Right.
So, I thought it was fun. Like, my only takeaway was Giles is a fucking creep.
I think that's my takeaway too. Maybe like the hallway thing wouldn't be that bad, but you get the hallway thing plus the club.
The
plus
club is
he
what
keeps trying
seals the deal for me.
the library, and yeah, call him the peeper. All right. Well, this is interesting. As someone who's never seen Buffy before, I appreciate everyone explaining it. I can do the mental pictures, and that we'll never have to watch this again, or
So-
never watch it again. Never have to watch it.
So my question for you though is hearing this not making you the slight bit interested in watching it?
Okay, I do want to see the bronze. I want to see the
Okay.
bronze only because I want to see if there's a place I would hang out with. I'm like, hey, is this like the Peach Pit? Or-
No, it's actually more like
Oh.
it looks like an old warehouse.
Oh, so maybe it's a place I did hang out at. Cool.
You know,
You had a peach pit. We had a cherry pit in college.
yeah, we did. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a place you want to hang out, but it's a place you do hang out.
Hey,
You know?
what, Jim? You know what you should do? You should like not watch Buffy, but you should watch Angel and
Angel.
see if we can give you enough context throughout the show to like be able to like know what's going on there.
No, he will get spoiled for some Angel stuff in
Oh.
Buffy if he watches Angel.
Well, you can give him the watch order.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Angel doesn't start until season 4 of Buffy.
Okay, well then we can.
After season 4.
Fine.
During season 4, they run
just think-
concurrently.
I think that would be hilarious.
And I'll do it right now with. I have one question about Angel, and it's okay to spoil it. When does he become an FBI agent? That's what I want to know. Is that season 6? See, I'm still going for the extended universe. I swear, man. It's extended universe. They're all looped together. It's Stan
don't know.
Lee's cameos. They're all looped in. Well, this was exciting, guys. Thank you so much. To answer your question, Jess, part of me is like, okay, I do want to see Julie rip off a face. I want to see that. I want to see, like I said, like the bronze. I want to see aspects of it. I am not hooked enough to see the whole show or
Okay.
episode.
Well, that's
I'm not hooking
my goal for you is to convince you eventually that you need to watch the show.
And convince any listeners at home who've never seen this show or have seen it for the first time or the millionth time. That's what kind of this podcast is for. I had a lot of fun. So, without any further ado, I want to say, as we jazz hands, this is great. On behalf of myself, Jim Phoenix, and the superfans, Xander and Jess, and the new, first time ever, Travis, I'd like to say thank you, everyone. Bye. See you next week with episode 2.
Yes,
Yeah.
The Harvest.
To be continued.
Bye, everyone.